What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazique, and I am talking boxing, and it is my pleasure to talk boxing with Josh Buatsi. He is one of the top-ranked guys in terms of in the light heavyweight division. Fantastic fight coming up on September 21st. How you doing today, Josh?
I'm good, Brian. Thanks for bearing with me, man.
No, it's all good.
Before it started, Brian was very patient, so I appreciate it, man. I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm in your side of the world, so not in the same state, but I'm in Cali, so the weather's great, so I can't complain.
Oh yeah. Because you were there for Crawford Madrimov?
For who?
For the Crawford Madrimov fight? Is that what you?
No, you know what? I didn't go to that fight because I was already in camp. So as much of a boxing fan as I am,
Yeah.
and it's not far from where I am, I just couldn't. I had sparring that day, man, and I had to rest to train again. So I had to prioritize what I'm doing so that when it's my fight night, I can perform as well. Yeah,
I get you, man. I gotta ask you too. It's interesting that you talked about being in the United States because you haven't actually fought in the United States, but one time I think it was in 2019.
Yeah, 2019 at MSG on the East Coast. So that was quite nice, a good experience. But the East Coast is very different from the West. That's what I've noticed. But that was 2019.
Yeah, so it was on the Joshua Andy Ruiz 1 card.
Yeah.
And so because you've like only fought in the United States one time, there's a lot of American boxing fans that may not be super familiar with you. So if for the American fight fans that are not super familiar with you, how would you introduce yourself to them? Like what style fighter are you and that sort of thing?
I think so. I've been a pro for I think like 7 years and currently fighting for the WBO interim belt. September the 21st.
Yes, sir.
I won a final eliminator of the WBA in my last fight, February the 3rd. And then in the amateurs, I'm a European bronze medalist and an Olympic bronze medalist as well. So in the amateurs, I'd say I went all the way, competed at the highest level. Thankfully, managed to get something tangible in the form of medals to show people, what I've been doing for the last 8 years in the amateurs. And as a professional, number one in my country, that I reside in for many years. So it's just, I've been very close to the world title. So again, this is a fight that will take me closer to it. And I think until we accepted the WBO interim, I was ranked number 1 all across the governing bodies. So I think now that I sided with the WBO, I've lost my WBA rankings because I won final eliminator for that. But I think by the WBC, I'm still number 1. The IBF, I think I'm number 3 or 2. So been in top 3 for some years now. Yeah, so it's about just getting closer to the title.
So I've kind of been seeing what's happening, and I know that your fight coming up on the 21st is against Willy Hutchinson. So I gotta ask you, with that fight, it's been interesting, especially the most recent build up. Some of the things I've heard both you guys say makes it interesting. What should we expect with that fight? Because it's got a pretty nice place in regards to where it stacks on the card, leading up to Joshua Dubois. So what should we expect from that fight?
I think, as always, we always say that there's a lot at stake. Well, really, Brian, this one, a lot is at stake. It's for the interim belt. It's a lot riding on it. What to expect? I always say when I'm in the ring, it's 100% for me to do what I have to do to win. And I fight like that. I think I've shown different styles though, Brian. Sometimes I box, sometimes I fight, close range, long range. So I think you see a bit of everything, but what you will see is whatever I have to be to win. So if I got a fight to win, I'll be fighting. If I have to box, I'll be boxing. So for myself, I can't speak of what the other dude's going to try and do, but I can pretty much say for myself, what I'm going to do. And like I said, that would be a style that's going to win. And of course, if you see a knockout, you always take it.
Yeah, it's funny because I really feel like the improvement, I think I've really seen pretty clearly, right? I saw an earlier fight, and then I saw your fight against Ben Aziz, and I was really looking at just how much tighter the punches have gotten, just overall, and you seem so much more comfortable, so much that you can see the experience in the ring. So But something kind of stuck out to me that I saw Willie say is that he said that, because there's the Anthony Yarde fight that's out there, but he
Yeah.
said that he knows that you're not looking past him because he believes that he is a tougher fight for you than Anthony Yarde. Why do you think he believes that?
I feel like he's supposed to. All the things he's saying. No, I'll be honest. I think all the things he's saying, he's meant to say it. I don't think, Brian, you can imagine a fighter coming on to say, actually, I'm an easier fight than another guy for the guy he's fighting. You're gonna make yourself sound as the bigger task or the higher mountain to climb. So, in my eyes, he's supposed to say he's a good talker and that's good for him. But as you know, in boxing, there's a lot of talking that's done, but there comes a time where you have to back it up. You have to get in the ring. You have to do what you've been saying. So I think he's supposed to say it, man. I didn't expect him to say anything other than that. And September the 21st, we get to find out.
Is that a challenge though for you? Because Anthony Yarde's name is bigger, of course. It's been around for a little bit longer. And is that a challenge for you, making sure, hey, that I stay focused on this fight, that I don't look past that at this other fight that may even bring me even more attention?
Yeah, it's a mistake that I've never made in terms of looking past who's in front of me. Right now, he's the most dangerous fighter that I'm going to face. Everything's at stake. It's the hardest task ever, and that's because that's what's in front of me. Myself and Yarde, it's a fight that, yes, we want to happen, but that's not in my mind right now. The moment this fight was presented and we accepted it, that's what was in mind. That's who was in mind. So the Yarde fight, it doesn't cross my mind now because I know this is what I have to deal with. And as you know, your next fight is almost the biggest fight in boxing. So I'm by no means looking past Willy.
Yeah. So in terms of like this fight here, you're on the card again with Anthony Joshua. Of course, you were on the card with him with Anthony Ruiz, and I personally feel like I've someone that's followed Joshua's career even from all the way back to the Olympics, right? And so I've seen literally every professional fight he's had. You've been on the card with him. You've been around him. Is there something different that you think that you've detected with him from back then? Of course, that was a losing effort against Andy Ruiz, and being around him or anywhere close to him at this point now.
You know what? When I speak to Joshua now, I just sense more of an experienced fighter. I think he took on a lot early in his career that no one ever thought, oh, actually, this is quite a novice as a professional that became world champion. But I think now he just sounds like an experienced fighter. His mindset seems to have changed towards fighting, how he handles fights, and spoke to him, I think, just before I came out here. And he just said, look, it's boxing. Enjoy training, train hard, and just end up doing the job. So I think his mindset is different. I wouldn't say it's too different from what it was. Maybe the dude that I speak to and the fighter that we see is different. So I just talk to him as someone that I know. We speak a bit about boxing, and that's it. So maybe I don't get into the whole depths of the mindset of a fighter or whatever. But I think the new team he's got, in terms of the new coach he's got, it seems to be working quite well. And I'm sure he's made other changes in his personal life or in his training life that's benefiting him. So I think going into this, he's in a good position. But we just can't forget also Dan Dubois has come off 2 massive wins, and one that we just can't look past. So I think this is, again, a massive event. But if you look at both fighters, you've got reasons to say why either will win. And when it comes to making decisions, Brian, I'm terrible at it. I just go with who I'm familiar with. I go on who I know, who I'm much more closer to. I never go on the actual boxing abilities or the IQ or who I think is the better fighter. I never do that. So I make the mistake all the time.
Yeah. I was thinking that too, because one of the questions I was going to ask you is, does AJ beat Fury or Usyk? If it'd be the third fight with Usyk, does he beat them in your mind? And obviously, it sounds like you would definitely give him the edge here. Based off that.
Yeah. And that's because I know him. But also, I think you know what? In the second Usyk fight, I know he lost, but he was figuring him out, in my
Yeah.
opinion. He did better than the first time, but again, we can't take away how good Usyk is. It's a fact, man. Dude's good. He's good.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a fantastic fighter. Now, I got to ask you, so obviously you got Willy first, and then maybe, who knows, after that it could be Yard. And I know, like you were saying, you stay focused on the guy that's in front of you. But as a person who's right here fighting for an interim world title at light heavyweight, do you think about it any time? Hey, Beterbiev and Bivol are fighting, and this is like undisputed. I mean, whoever wins that fight is going to be unanimously thought of as the best light heavyweight fighter in the world. There is a massive financial opportunity if you could somehow find yourself fighting Canelo Alvarez. How do you or David Benavidez, the fight that maybe Canelo doesn't want to have? Do you think about those opportunities, and have those names even ever come up to you? Has somebody ever came to you and said, hey, you could be Canelo's next opponent, we got to see what happens?
Yeah, I think in the sport that we're in, a lot of people always match people. I wonder what this fight would be like. I wonder how that fight would end up. So people have come up and they've said it. And of course, I'm like, you know what? Great fights. I look at the division that I'm in. Brian, there's so many good fighters in the division. And I always end up saying, I hope by the time we all hang up the gloves, we can say we all mixed it up. It's the same as the light heavyweight scene in England. There's so many of us that were top 10 in the world. And I just hope that one day we can be in the ends, we can be in the area and say, look, when we were in our 30s, we had a fight and we're good friends now. But, I can bump into someone and say, we had a fight about 10 years ago. It was a good fight. We sold out big arenas in the country that we live in and stuff like that. And a bit like the international stage, there's a lot of good light heavies. And hopefully we can all hang up the gloves soon and say, you know what? I fought that guy from Mexico, good fighter. I boxed that guy from the States, good fighter. You want to be able to say stuff like that. So I do hope it happens. But I think ultimately, I know Hutchinson's the dude I need to get rid of first to keep having these options or keep seeing further.
Yeah, no, I get it. I definitely get it, man. I appreciate your time so much, Josh, man. I'm glad we were able to work this out. I hope this is not the last time we get a chance to talk. I'd love to talk to you after the Hutchinson fight if we can get a chance to do that. It's just some really, really good stuff happening with your group right now, with you, with Bakole, just your overall group right now. Some really great stuff happening, and it's exciting for boxing.
For sure, Brian. Brian, I got a quick question. What did you think of Bakole's fight against Henderson? I know Anderson's.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you, man, the dude is scary, though. I mean, and he's the reason he's so scary, I'm gonna be honest, is he reminds me, and I won't put this much pressure on him right now, but he reminds me a lot of George Foreman because he has the ability to absorb shots.
Yeah.
And at the same time, when he's landing, he's hurting you with what looks like glancing blows.
Yeah.
And his jab is so heavy.
Yeah.
It's just like every time he hit Jared with the jab, it was like Jared was looking at him like, damn. It's real, man. And and he's got that wide head, wide neck, shock absorber kind of a thing. Like, he's scary. I think he is a problem for any heavyweight.
Absolutely. I'm very familiar with him, but I always say he's someone that's always been avoided. In the same breath, whilst we acknowledge him, we still have to acknowledge Anderson because he took a lot of punishment. Yes. But I have to rate him because he always got up. He always got up. He didn't just stay on the floor and say, you know what, not today. He always got up. So we got to give credit for a young champion like that as well.
Yeah, and I also thought, man, at the end of the fight, Anderson, I knew he was finished, like, competing that day.
Yeah.
But what I really appreciated is that I could look into him and tell he wasn't finished competing overall.
For sure, that's a good.
So, and I thought that was really key.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to pick your brains on it because it was a very good fight for me. It was fight of the night.
Yes,
and
100%.
fight of the night as well. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right, man. Well, like I said, I appreciate your time, bro.
Thank
Hopefully we
you,
get a chance to talk again later.
no worries. Thanks for having me. Appreciate that. Thank
All
you.
right. Y'all have a good one, bro.